we were here for one thing and one thing only, which is the 2xKO patch notes. I like how it's season 0. That just sounds funny as hell, but you do what you gotta do, right? All right? As you can see in the title, we're turning over a new leaf. You know, we're not gonna... We don't hate nobody, all right? Something, 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 yada, yada, yada. Who cares? But yeah. Here we go with the 2xKO patch notes. What is in there? You got Teemo and Warwick. Now, I talked about this yesterday, like, you know, briefly, about, was it yesterday or the day before, or whatever, about them kind of, like, releasing things just cuz, almost as if, like, someone's telling them that they gotta release it now? Question mark? But nonetheless, that's better for me and you because we get to deal with and play things sooner rather than later, right? So obviously no one cares about what's going on behind the scenes. If I, as the consumer, as the guy that's about to buy every single cosmetic in the game, if I get it, you know, faster. So none of that matters, right? So right now, new champions that are coming out literally tomorrow, Teemo and Warwick. I will actually be playing them both. I wouldn't really say playing them together because, you know, I just don't want to, right? Like seeing how Teemo plays by default, I'm gonna want to play with Ahri, right? So Ahri Teemo, because again, Jinx is not a real zoner, so you know, like having an actual character that shoots projectiles, and that's their whole game plan. Like that's cool, and that's what, you know, I wanted to see different play styles, and I'm glad that, you know, the 10th character, which is Teemo, sadly enough, I don't wish it was Teemo. You know, all of us wish that the zoner character was Ahri or the zoner character was Jinx, but that's not actually really the case. The zoner character is Teemo and Yasuo. So sadly enough, it is what it is. Secondly, again, Warwick being one of my favorite characters, so, you know, I assume he's going to be another big body. So now, who do we got? We got Illaoi, we got Darius, we got Blitzcrank, we got Braum, and now we got Warwick. I'm assuming from the pictures that I've seen that he is in fact a big body. That makes 2xKO have 5 big bodies out of 11. Unheard of. This is astronomical. Like you really couldn't make this up, right? Real quick, is that good or bad? I think it's bad, mainly because movement doesn't really feel great in this game. A lot of people are having problems with movement. A lot of people are having problems with backdashes. A lot of people are having problems with getting in because only Ahri has an air dash, right? So having too many characters be big and slow, again, I don't know how Warwick is played, but, you know, we'll find that out pretty shortly. But just in general, having 5 characters that pretty slow, and just get stopped by Yasuo, Ekko, and even to a certain extent Ahri, right? Like, it's kind of rough, you know? It's kind of rough. But yeah, new content, and I'm going to put asterisk behind it because I feel like anybody that I wanted to make this a separate thing, right? But I'm not going to do that because, like, it wouldn't be, like, too long of a video. But I'm having a gripe with people using the word content. It seems that, like, anything that is happening, anything that people are doing, anything that people are releasing, it's called content. And I'm getting a little tired of that word. Why? Because I feel like the bare minimum of stuff is the floor is so low. The ceiling is clearly not very high, you know, where people are like, you know what? I think that at some point we need to stop using that word and call it the bare minimum. All right? You know, I do feel like the ceiling is so low, and we're calling everything content when this should really just be the bare minimum, right? Like we are accepting everything that comes out as if it's revolutionary, when at the end of the day, most of the stuff that's happening, most of the stuff that's coming out should be like one of the first things that you think of, right? So, you know, as I said, Street Fighter 6 does something, and they put out a fantastic product that when other companies copy it, it's called content, right? I don't, you know, again, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Rito, but at some point we can't just keep using the word content when, like, as soon as the game comes out, it should be this, right? Like, I should be able to sit in training mode and be able to find a match. That should be bare bones, you know? I should, at this point, and I know, like, people might argue with this, games should have frame data inside, right? There should be combo trials. You know, like saying the store, like all this stuff is basic bare bones stuff that you just expect, right? So it's like, and I get, you know, they're putting it as like, you know, on this bar of new content, right? Which is perfectly fine. My actual issue is people acting like this is a great thing when, again, this should be bare bones. They're like, oh my God. You know what? Hold on. Let me just bring it up. I'll just bring it up. All right. I'll just bring it up. Let me see. Where is it at? Where is it at? I just thought this was funny, and I'm sorry, person that I'm about to say something about, but I think it's definitely funny to just bring up. Unless he deleted. Wait, what? There you go. Right. To think there was a discussion on whether or not Riot would be able to provide enough content. 2 new stages, new champ, battle pass. We're being gaslit. Like, come on. Come on. You really made a status about this, my guy? Bare bones stuff is content to people. All right? But you know what? I digress. Let us move on. What's left on the thing, right? We have NERFS for Ekko, Jinx, Yasuo, 2x assist, double down, Juggernaut, and sidekick. Now, my only thing about these grooves, if you will, there's no freestyle nerfs. And I feel like people are really sleeping on the one groove that allows you to get schmicks, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, it is what it is, right? Buff for Ahri, Braum, Darius, and Vi. I'm looking at Ahri right now, and I feel like adjust should have been the word for Ahri. I don't think buff is the right word, but I will go into that in a second, right? Adjust for Blitzcrank and Illaoi. New cosmetics, right? Which is, you know, the Riot Classic, which is skins and whatnot. If there's one thing that Riot should and always will be praised for, is the amount of skins and cool cosmetics that they have in their games. But yeah, like I could have just kept on this page. We're still working on bringing 2xKO to consoles, which is obviously my only thing about this is, right, even though this is bad, clearly, you know, console players want to play the game and they can't. I actually understand, only because, and I'm pretty sure Riot is not what's the word for it? They can't get past this as well. I'm pretty sure they have to pay every time they put out a patch on a console, right? It's not just something, and this is why other fighting games can't do this, right? I'm pretty sure they're not going to be using their own client. I don't know how this is going to work. I really don't. And they're going to be having to deal with PlayStation rules. I don't know if this game is going to be on anything else, right? Xbox, Switch. I haven't really paid attention about that, right? Because clearly, as soon as this is dropped on PlayStation, best believe PlayStation will probably be the norm, right? So, as I've dealt with other companies, it is hard for them to patch things when they want to. So they're not until the product is secure, you can't release it on console. I can understand that, right? So it is what it is. Closed beta title, new content. Missions, right? Look, this is the funny part. Completing the first fight tutorial also grants a champion token. So I guess that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to try to get as many tokens as we can, and yeah, just try to get all the characters as soon as humanly possible, so that when the new characters drop, as they keep dropping, you'll be able to get them, as they drop. Yeah, new champions, Teemo and Warwick. Obviously, as I just said, this is actually surprisingly cool. That we're getting 11 characters instead of 10, and yeah, like that's again, more characters the better. Let's see what we got. Visit champion starting in season 1. Each season of 2xKO will launch with a new champion. Champion can be locked for 1,000 points. Blah, blah, blah. After 3 weeks have passed, the new champion can be unlocked with 10,000 credits. Wait, what? Purchasing the Ultra Battle Pass bundle. I mean, I guess this is what we're going to be doing. I never got any of the battle passes for League, only because there was literally no point to ever get a battle pass for League. But I assume the first few for 2xKO will be worth it. So regardless, I'm not trying to sit here and unlock things. I'll probably just spend $60 like a normal idiot and just get everything unlocked. Combo trials. You'll earn credits for successfully completing them. I guess, we're just going to be doing that. Maybe just for content, right? Training mode frame data bar, which honestly should just be in every game at this point. Stages. This is my thing about stages. I feel like games these days don't have enough stages. I feel like, well, excuse me, 2 things. 1, stages. 2, workable stages. In Street Fighter 4, there was a whole bunch of banned stages. Street Fighter 5 had a few banned stages. I don't think Street Fighter 6 has any banned stages. Fatal Fury has like 4 banned stages, including one at 30, 20 FPS that actually makes you seasick. So yeah, I don't think there should be any banned stages in this game, because for the most part, I do think the game works fluently, but we'll never know. System changes, decreased power of double down, super tag, blah 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 blah, right? Including meter gain, ranked adjustments, and back end improvements. I'm gonna be real. Take this with a grain of salt. I just think rank can't work in a fighting game. I'm actually at a point in my life where ranked literally means nothing in fighting games except for Street Fighter 6. I don't think it's, yeah. I didn't like ranked in the beta. I don't think there's going to be anything in this game that will make ranked matter. So, yeah. Okay. Core gameplay. You can, yeah, that's a whole video in itself, right? Why rank doesn't really mean anything in most games. You can now take actions in midair after blocking attacks. Previously, blocking an attack midair locked you out of performing air actions, even after air block stun ended, which is actually pretty cool. Pretty important, honestly, too. Like, I felt like once I blocked in the air, I lost the game. Especially if Ekko or Yasuo were the ones that made me block. Throw invulnerability while mid-air has been increased from 5 frames to 8 frames after blocking an attack. I do think, in general, throwing is broken. Like, broken. And it is way too hard. And I've been known to be the guy to tech every throw known to man. Even I have a hard time teching throws in this game. Because also, whiffing a throw means you lose the game. So that's a big problem. Opponents recover from being hit by break 10 frames earlier. Now, I think they go into this more down there, so if not, then I'll speak on that in a second. Air hitboxes and air collision is more consistent in any animation where champion spins. Yasuo, Ekko, everybody. Retreating guard can no longer be performed by holding down back. It's only holding back. This cooldown timer now starts as soon as the champion leaves the screen. I do feel like this was pretty problematic in general, right? I don't think they adjusted the character staying in screen too long, but yeah, at least now it'll be easier, to use your assists, and which is important, right? What is it? Tag launcher. So I've had a problem with Jinx Ahri or was it Jinx Braum or one of them, where I think the character is out and I can tag launch, but I can't. Bug fixes. After getting hit by break or get up attack, you can now perform actions, which is extremely important. That's probably one of the biggest things in this patch that I'm glad they took care of. All right, I was not able to wake up parry sometimes, and that would make me lose the game. Double down scaling for Jinx's super. All right, there you go. Break is less advantageous when not performing a handshake tag. Break advantage on point champion on the ground is now +6. Now, the thing that I'm trying to figure out is that +6 when I get to you? Because if it is +6 when I get to you, that sounds pretty problematic. Unless they are talking about if I'm in the corner and I break instantly, it's my turn, I'm +6 and I win, right? Break advantage while mid-air can be anywhere from 0 to 11, +11, depending on height. I have to see what that looks like, because again, the problem with break advantage was that you could break and then run up and then get full pressure, get full combo, and the person just loses for trying to hit you. All right? If that means that when you break mid-screen that they don't win, that's cool. And obviously, breaking in the corner, I mean, I feel like they're going the strive route where you break instantly, you swing. It is what it is, right? Meter gain has been reduced overall. 8 seconds, meter gain is 80%. 11 seconds, meter gain is 50. 16 seconds, meter gain is 10%. I guess that's cool, you know? We'll see how this affects certain characters over other characters. Spending meter now decreases meter gain by 75% for 8 seconds. This penalty goes away once the opponent recovers from a combo. So I'm assuming Jinx super tag, you get literally nothing. But again, we won't know. Since parry costs a bar of meter and refunds on success, this change reduces the potency of combos performed after parry. Limit strike bonus meter gain has been reduced from 40 to 25. I guess at that point, there's no real reason to use it. I guess. Handshake tag no longer prevents gray health from being accumulated. This was a mostly unknown trait, but the strongest option in neutral was to assist handshake tag or super handshake tag. Previously, any damage dealt after these hits was unrecoverable, which made it so that these hits were disproportionately rewarding. This is no longer the case. I don't know what that means. Alright, Fuse's Juggernaut. Break meter on round start has been reduced from 100% to 75%. Juggernaut starting each round with a full bar of break led to round start death situations. That's actually kind of crazy when you think about it, because what would be the point of playing Juggernaut anymore? I don't know. That's I think it was really because of Blitz. I don't know, but that actually sounds kind of crazy. I don't agree with that at all. Just lose, I guess. Double down. Performing a double down super results in a second super dealing less damage. Damage penalty was increased from 20% to 30%. So doing super does way less damage. Well, I mean, not way less damage, but I guess it makes sense. Sidekick. Performing a sidekick super now results in a second super doing less damage. Double down, which is actually funny that, you know, they nerfed sidekick as well. Double down and 2x assist. The cooldown on using assists after activating double down or 2x assist has increased to 4 seconds, which I guess makes sense. Right? Sidekick, you can no longer perform more than one double down. We're bringing sidekick in line with double down, removing the ability to sidekick super multiple times. Sorry to hear that. I don't know what to say. Yeah. Tutorial UI flow and menus have been updated. First fight tutorial received visual updates. You'll now receive a set of avatar items for completing tutorials. So I guess we just all do it. Then again, you know, for a game like this, and a game that I know I'm going to play for quite some time, finishing all the stuff kind of just, you know, it just seems like a thing that I'm going to do. All right, here we go. Champion adjustments. Yeah, all three things, right? The combo trials and the tutorials. Yeah, cool. All right, now, this is very interesting, right? When I read the Ahri notes, because this was like really the only thing I paid attention to. I'm confused on. All right, here we some of it, but it is what it is, right? We're buffing Ahri significantly. by improving her air combo stability and ground combo stability. What's funny right here, right? Buffing Ahri significantly. I feel like the terms should be adjust. You're adjusting her. Why? Because most of what her problems was, things just didn't work. Right? We're also making her Spirit Rush in any direction routes more stable in Happy Birthday situations and against cornered opponents. To balance this out. So we fixed her, but to balance this out, we're dialing back some of her neutral tools. We believe that with these changes, Ahri will be overall stronger and perform more consistently. Sure, I guess. Dialing back Ahri's neutral tools. Spirit Rush in any direction can no longer be performed into another Spirit Rush if the first Spirit Rush doesn't connect. Ahri was able to run away and turn into a hitbox, which was annoying at mid-levels of play. This slows down her ability to suspend mid-air for extended amounts of time while preserving her combo routes. Like, I get this, right? Because even when I would watch bad Ahri players, they're just dashing all over the place, and I'm sitting there like, this just looks stupid. So yeah, I'm against nerfing bad gameplay. But now, nerfing bad gameplay entails that the rest of the bad gameplay gets nerfed. But we'll get into that shortly. Standing medium startup has been increased by 1 frame. It was 9 frames and now 10. We're increasing the startup to move her power to the parts of her kit that make her special. That literally makes no sense. Let's continue. I'm turning over a new leaf, guys. All right. Also, with Cha-Cha, whoever does the video, just make a leaf turn over. The leaf looks the same on the other side, but just turn it over. Spirit Rush assist hit hurt box size has been increased. So, the most negative move in the game, you made the hurt box bigger. Now extends in the front of Ahri. Sure. Not to mention, in general, Ahri has the worst assists in the game. I don't really, whatever. Hyper Spirit Rush Super damage has been reduced by 9 damage. It was 272 damage and that is now 263. Cool. Standing Heavy block stun has been reduced by 1. I'm actually really confused on who, and I'm talking about anyone on the planet, who has actually complained about Ahri's buttons. Has one person ever said Ahri's buttons is really good? H in the wild flares is still a true block string. Now what I think is going to happen is that sometimes I'm going to do H into wild flare, right, which is a 3-hitting move. Watch that not be a true block string sometimes. I feel like when things like this happen, I feel like things are gonna mess up. I truly feel like randomly it's just I'm gonna get supered through my H into S2. I feel like that's gonna happen, and then I'm gonna go back to these patch and be like, oh, my H block stun was reduced by 1 frame. That's what I feel like is gonna happen. But yeah, whatever. Alright, Ahri's combos were dropped in a lot of unexpected ways. The changes below should address that. Standing M and crouching M height has been increased. Distance it pushes the opponent has been decreased. Standing H height has been increased. Mid-air 2H pushes opponent less on hit, which was a problem. With this specifically, right? Jump 2H, her cross-up move. I would say, I'm not even kidding, I would say I've had a 20% combo success rate. 20%. The move has no hit stun. Maybe that fixes that. Maybe. We'll find out. Spirit Rush combos, right? Her dash attack. More consistent. Happy birthday. Spirit Rush. Now properly combos against cornered opponents for max range. Crouching heavy launch height versus airborne. What they should have did was make her crouching H better, because she probably has the worst, outside of Vi, of course, crouching H. Mid-air charged H hit stun has been increased, and launch angle has been adjusted to keep the opponent closer to Ahri. I'm surprised they didn't show the frame data. Hit stun, that would mean like, what? Like 2-3 frames extra? I mean, like, they kind of, they showed the other stuff on frame data, but they didn't show this one. Mid-air Foxfire Blast hit stun has been slightly increased. I mean, again, that would be cool to know. Diagonal Spirit Rush launch value has been slightly adjusted. Mid-air Spirit Rush any direction knockback has been adjusted to keep opponents slightly closer. Spirit Rush travel distance has been increased, and it now combos more reliably from mid-air attacks. This isn't really buffs. You know what I mean? These are fixes. Because these are nerfs, and these are fixes. But yeah, Foxfire Rain Assist, which is her assist that literally no one uses, pretty much. Block set has been increased. I guess that's cool. Charm Ultimate Projectile hitbox size been increased, right? So overall, she got fixed. So I mean, like, again, we will see how good that is, right? I wrote this. I just want a working character. So it is what it is, right? Let's move on. Yeah, exactly. Her buff is that now she works, right? But yeah, we're just nerfing stuff too. Blitzcrank. Adjustments, right? Air command grab can no longer be performed while extremely low to the ground, which is oof. But yeah, let's just read the notes in general, right? In the last balance patch, we reduced Blitzcrank's damage on long-range grabs. We want Blitzcrank players to be rewarded for getting close to the opponents, so we're improving their Steam-empowered command grab and carry command grab. We're also giving Blitzcrank a few quality of life buffs. The core rule changes also remove Blitzcrank ability to true block string aerial opponents into a command grab. So, hold that. Blocking in the air and being guaranteed to be thrown afterwards. Gone. And Blitzcrank still has a major advantage when you block their mid-air attacks. Blitzcrank bug fixes, right? Fury dash cancel can now be performed at the end of a forward throw. Steam no longer decays during screen freeze, like during handshake tag and ultimates, Garbage Collection no longer grants extra meter on counter hit. Helping Hand Super no longer grants Blitzcrank Steam when using Sidekick Fuse. Midair throw now deals 210 damage. I guess whatever. Honestly speaking, I don't really even care about Blitzcrank because I feel like nothing has changed. So we can move on. Braum. We're giving Braum some consistency improvements on Stand Behind Me, including its assist version. I do feel like his shield definitely is good, but his assist shield is absolutely terrible. So the shield now extends further in front of him. I guess it's whatever. Right? The shield now extends further in front of Braum to protect assists more. Cool. The way they do this. 2H hitbox height has been increased to match the animation. Charged Leap Little One now hits off the ground to match uncharged behavior. No, I guess that's cool. Glacier Breaker and Winter's Ride Unbreakable, S2 causes a longer knockdown when it hits an assist or when Braum is tagged out before they connect. Light hitbox size has been increased. Medium hitbox size has been increased. So, I mean, like, in general, these are just whatever. Nothing really changed. Braum has a lot of recovery on his normals, which we want to maintain. If you decide to use his big buttons, we want to make sure it properly stuffs opponents running at you. I have had issues where they're just kind of jumping over me. Because, like, Braum's 2H is weird. It doesn't make sense. Alright? So it's like a lot of times, and I think this is in general, right? Like, certain 2Hs are good, certain 2Hs are really bad. And Braum's 2H is decently bad. So, like, a lot of times I will try to anti-air with M. And I'm just like, dog, I'm just whiffing. Like, people still running up, pressing buttons and stuff like that. So, yeah, cool. H, forward movement has been increased, right? Down S2, forward movement has been increased. So, that's cool. You know, maybe his combos and conversions and stuff will be more consistent. That's all, like, I wanted. Like, I felt like playing Ahri Braum a lot of times, and it's include Jinx as well, right? I feel like those three characters just whiff a lot. And I've just been kind of, like, it makes you dislike the game itself, right? When you're looking at stuff and being like, this is cool. I just want it to work, and, you know, it doesn't. So, hopefully with all these changes, right, with these characters, things just flow and feel better. And that, like, regardless of patches, right, like buffs and nerfs on stuff, none of that matters if the core thing itself is a problem, right? And, you know, like I said with things like Ekko, I wouldn't know if Ekko is good in neutral or bad in neutral because he just has one move that he just tosses out and it's broken, right? So, like, things like that, it makes you wonder what, well, it makes you wonder if you should play the character for starters, right? And then it makes you wonder, should you just pick up Yasuo or Ekko because you know their stuff works? But yeah, damage buffs, right? Charge forward heavy has been increased by 20 damage from 130 to 150. Iceborne Smash, right? The freaking, the projectile thing has been increased from 30 to 80 when hitting a grounded opponent. Glacier Breaker, right, has been increased from 30 to 60 when it hits an assist or when Braum is tagged out before it connects. So that's actually pretty cool. Because you don't get the animation, right? When you do the yeah, when you do the follow-up, right? You don't get that animation, so it's cool that it does more damage. Battering Ram and Glacier Breaker adjusted to make behavior and Happy Birthdays more consistent. Glacier Breaker and Winter's Ride are no longer classified as high attacks in training mode. What? This was working as intended in actual matches. Alright. So I mean, like, kind of quality of life, you know. Darius is a good spot, so we're not making drastic changes to him. We're slightly buffing his mobility and damage by improving his backdash speed and increasing bleed damage from normals. Slight buffs. Backdash speed has been increased by 10%. I guess they want him to kite better. I don't know. Bleed damage dealt by normals has been increased. Normals did a disproportionately low amount of bleed damage compared to special attacks. On average, light, medium, heavy block string damage has been increased by 10 each. So get ready to die. Darius bug fixes. Salted Earth down S2 projectile visuals have been updated. Doxing Guillotine Ultimate been reduced. Hit stop has been reduced when connecting with assists. Hand of Noxus no longer grants the extra meter and counter hit. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Ekko. This is what this is why we're here. We think Ekko is strong and we want to tone him down to be more on par with the rest of the roster. In this patch, we're keeping his offensive mix-up potential. In other words, nothing changes. But we're taking away the power from Timewinder, which, again, as I just stated, it was hard to determine, in general, just how broken Ekko is, right? Ekko's already broken. But Timewinder was what was allowing him to absolutely be unfair. So yeah, Timewinder is now riskier to use, which should preserve an aggressive style and encourage Ekko players to set after images in neutral, which will continue to keep an eye on Ekko's offensive capabilities, which is broken. His assist hurtbox size has been increased. During mid-air charge, Chrono Strike, pushback applied to counter to Ekko in the corner on hit and block has been reduced. Collision changes made Ekko lose consistency on his mid-air charged Chrono Strike standing light combo in the corner. This change will keep corner combos stable. Sure. Fixed issue where Ekko counter ultimate. We're using Ekko counter ultimate. The frame an opposing Ekko teleports causes the opposing Ekko to freeze. I've never seen that. Attempt number 37. Ekko. What? Oh, that's what that is. Counter version will no longer trigger when Ekko is hit by a parry shockwave. Parry shockwave happens when a strike is parried by the opponent. Can now properly buffer inputs when activating replay during hit stop of charged Chrono Strike. Alright. Alright, nerfs. Yeah. Mid-air Timewinder. Ekko now falls slightly slower. This increases its recovery by 4 frames on average. I mean, I felt like there was just nothing you could do about that. 4 frames doesn't really seem like much. Timewinder on the ground, recovery has been increased by 6 frames. It was 41 frames, is now 47. I don't think that's too much. I mean, maybe it'll help. I don't know. But, yeah. And that's it. Like, that's the crazy part, right? That's his nerf. His nerf is the one move, right? Which is cool. So I mean, it's a good start. But right now, from what you are looking at with Ekko, he is still top 2. By far. Throw advantage has been reduced by 2 frames, disabling the Tangled Timeline combo, which, I mean, sure, nobody was doing that, really. Tangled Timeline Super Dow ends when Ekko is knocked down. Step Up, running H, can no longer be cancelled into mid-air Timewinder or mid-air replay. While Ekko is tagged out. I didn't even know he could do that. That was ridiculous. Illaoi. We're giving her some quality of life buffs. Tentacle Smash. Tentacle Follow-Up should no longer miss. Charge 2H's second hit causes wall bounce instead of the first. Honestly, she does need to get nerfed. I definitely do think she needs to get nerfed. But, you know what? Apparently this was Jinx's this was Jinx's patch. And maybe Yasuo echoes the same thing. Super 2 handshake tag while in double down was dominating Jinx's kit. We don't want to eliminate this as a strategy entirely because we think it can have a place in the game. But Zap was too easy to access and far too rewarding on hit. In addition to the system changes above, we're lowering Zap's damage. And combos following Zap will be shorter. We hope these adjustments will encourage players to explore other strategies. We'll be keeping an eye on Jinx. We believe if she decides to skip neutral, there should be a real cost in doing so. The issue with Jinx is that I don't think she's good. At this point, I'm not even going to say that she's not that good. I don't think she's good as a character. She has no real mix, and it's easy to deal with her by herself. Quality of life buffs. Pow Pow Pow, which is her Gatling gun, can now be cancelled into fish bones at any point during the sequence. I mean, I guess that's cool. Gatling gun often fed the opponent a large amount of meter if they knew how to parry. This change allows Jinx to mix up her timing, lets her shoot her rocket more effectively, and helps with confirming the move on airborne opponents. I think that was another big problem too, was that when if she hit you mid-air with most things, she wasn't getting combo or anything. Mid-air fish bones, right? The down rocket. And momentum, the air forward rocket and the air down rocket. Momentum applied to Jinx was adjusted slightly. I don't know what that means. It says quality of life buff, but I guess we'll see. Mid-air fish bones hop no longer launches an opponent as high. Both changes of mid-air fish bones and mid-air, well, both rockets enables fun new combos. I'm not gonna hold my breath on that one. Considering again, like, she just drops stuff. So nerfs. Super 1 damage has been reduced by 20%. This super was doing far too much damage, being the highest damage super in the game. This change brings her damage down to more reasonable levels. Well, goddamn. Flame Chompers block stun has been increased. Jinx can no longer throw the opponent between hits. I mean, I kind of thought that was dumb. But I mean, like, if you're just going to nerf everything else... S1 super corner hit push caused by projectiles has been removed. Zap's hitbox's lower portion has been increased, which is good. Like what? Like her gunshot, you could just duck it. So that was kind of great. I'm glad they fixed that at least. Fixed issue where flame choppers sound would loop audio. Fly chopper, fly clappy fly could be hit by Jinx after exploding. You could upback that, by the way, anyways, so I don't know why they just decided to get rid of it. As I said in Zem, she definitely bottom 4. She definitely bottom 4, 100%. It is what it is. But yeah. Throw advantage has been reduced. Apparently, I heard that you could still get the run-up combo. But I feel like what that means is that you can't get the run-up rocket combo. The jump rocket combo. So... it is what it is, I guess. Honestly speaking, and this is the crazy part. Honestly speaking, she, like, and it's funny because they're talking about doing the super tag. I think what this made her is literally a super tag character. I think she's just a super tag character. And even better, now this is the crazy part, right? You ready for this one? This makes things funnier. It's better if you get the mix after her super than getting the hit during her super. That's crazy to think about. Which means that Ekko and Yasuo are buffed by default if still playing with her. Any other character that plays with her is practically worthless. Like, I'm being dead serious. There is no point, like, even for me, right? Because I wanted to play Ahri Jinx. There is zero reason to play Ahri Jinx anymore. There's zero. Like, Ahri can barely get mix as it is. And now you're like... But you know what? Maybe the Ahri fixes will change that, right? I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, throw advantage has been reduced. Again, I'm assuming that means you can't get the jump rocket combo, but you can get the run-up rocket combo. So people who are doing ridiculous combos, including Inzem, it is what it is. Super 2 damage has been reduced. Final hit of the super now has 30% more damage scaling. Combos landing after super are now significantly shorter. If you perform a combo after zap, the combo will now be significantly worse. So I'm assuming what that means is that you just do an up-down thing as opposed to an up-down thing, which also means that Ahri, like, I wasn't able to get much with Ahri anyway, but I was able to do a quick knockdown into Super 1 into tag out. If I cannot do that anymore, throw the whole character away. Like literally, if I can't do that anymore, I actually don't even know what to say. I will 100% not really use Jinx. Like, that's just something. But yeah. Yeah, they might actually flip out instantly after the super. So, if that happens, then I don't know. Because I think another issue that is not addressed for Ahri is that she gets 0 Oki. Does anybody actually know what to do when Ahri gets a knockdown? I have 0 idea. What does Ahri do after a knockdown? Literally nothing. You just run up and press button. There's literally no Oki for the character. Go for throw into nothing. Go for button, nothing. Go for nothing into nothing. Depends on what kind of knockdown and who your assist is. Sure. Alright, Tebow. He's in the game. Vi. You can fake cross up and go low. I'm going to pretend you didn't say any of that. All right. Vi. I still like, I don't really ever have anything good to say about Vi. She just doesn't, she feels like she shouldn't be in the game. Out of all the characters that should be in the game, Vi should be like one of the #1 characters that should be in the game. But she plays like they don't know what she was ever, like. But yeah. She shouldn't be dropping things at unexpected moments when she lands hits. We're giving her some consistency improvements as well as shuffling damage around to make her more difficult routes more rewarding. Tagging during specific times no longer causes a soft lock. Blah, 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 blah. M vertical hitbox has been decreased. H forward movement has been decreased. Launch distance against airborne opponents has been increased. These changes sound like a nerf on paper, but they allow Vi to perform combos against airborne opponents with much more consistency. Flying knee has a taller hitbox. S1 damage has been decreased by 5. Literally nothing. Okay. Warwick. He's coming out. And Yasuo. We recently reduced Yasuo's damage to being more aligned with our other champions. We're happy with the results. Literally nothing changed. His win rate remains strong. However, Yasuo was still cheating the system in ways that other champions could not. You Marlin Pie, you gave him the kit. I don't know if Marlin Pie actually gave him the kit, but someone gave him the kit, and you can't add recovery to moves because the kit is broken. This is what I'm very confused. None of this matters. The kit itself is broken. Alright, Yasuo will have to place his shots more carefully. That has to be the biggest nothing burger sentence I have ever heard. We have a game where you are literally tagging out twice. You are tagging out twice. Yasuo gets, on average, 4 mix-ups per block string. On average, he gets 4 mix-ups per block string. And you're talking about he'll have to place his shots more carefully? Alright, you know what? Let's just read it. Whatever. Light now has a custom hurt box. Crouching Light now has a custom hurt box. His Crouching Light was going underneath attacks unintentionally. Great. Alright, combo adjustments. Mid-air, down H, hit stun has been decreased late into combos. Yasuo's combo length was a bit long. Really? Mid-air, down H into mid-air S1 or S2 is no longer guaranteed. Why do I feel like instead of just doing that, now you just do it, like now you just do the thing. You do the 1-2 instead of the down H into the 1-2. Now you just do it. And then do it again. And then you took out 1 hit. But you know what you didn't take out? You didn't take out the fact that he can get a double overhead into full combo. That would have been a good change, don't you think? Turbulent Wind and Mid-Air Turbulent Wind are now active for 2 more frames, and frames between each hit increase from 2 frames to 4 frames. The air collision adjustments made some of Yasuo's advanced combos drop. To fix this, we've adjusted Turbulent Wind to juggle the opponents for slightly longer. Look, let's read the note. All right, let's read the note. You ready? All right. We don't like changing move behavior this dramatically. However, mind you, right? Mind you, you know, I play Jinx, Ahri, and Braum. I wonder what my advanced combos look like, right? All right. Combo expression is a core part of Yasuo's kit. I thought his kit was do things and it works. So what did they do? They decided he should do more things and that it works. We want to keep his really strong combos really strong. So this change allows most of Yasuo's advanced combos to still function properly while opening up new strong combos. So mind you, hold up. His combo length was a bit long. So he decided that his earlier combos should be better. But his end combo is worse. So instead of doing 90%, no, this is how it went, right? You ready? Yasuo, when he comes out, will do 130% on each hit. The buff made it so that he only did 110% on hit. Now he does 100% on hit. But we made it more consistent. Okay, sure. Hopefully, you know, I'm waiting for the patch where he doesn't kill me. Can we do that one? Wait, how long we gotta wait for the patch where Yasuo does not end my life? This isn't the. This isn't the patch for that. All right, wind wall recovery has now been increased by 4 frames. It was 29 frames. It is now 33 frames. Literally does nothing. I don't think they're making it more consistent. Well, they are making it more consistent because it's now active for 2 more frames. And frames between each hit increased from 2 frames to 4. Not only are they making the combo more consistent, they're probably making it so that, 1, you might be able to do even more, or 2, you can, your long combo is now a different long combo. You just can't end it by doing the same 3-hit drop all day. Which, honestly, you just change what you were doing. Which is probably just the 2 hits instead of the 3 hits, right? Like, nothing really changes. You're just less brain dead. But yeah. Wind wall, still broken. Gale Blade, returning Gale, settling Gale, follow-up type. What? It was 26 frames and 30 frames, but it's now 25 frames? Sure. Is 4 frames recovery not enough? No, because the move itself is broken. He's still the best zoner in the game. He still has the most options in the game. You're also forgetting, right? And this is another thing that people don't really understand when it comes to a game like this. None of this means anything when you have an assist and can tag out twice. None of this means anything. But yeah, light no longer forces a light. Settling Gale hitbox is no longer active during recovery frames. 2H second hitbox is now the proper size when making contact with the opponent. Turbulent Wind no longer teleports Yasuo when canceling mid-air into a handshake. Tag. Thanks for not finding this one. I don't know. Sure. Gale Blade S1 and returning Gale now regain collision when they miss. I don't know what any of that means. Health has been reduced from 1,000 to 975. Oh, that's the Akuma classic. He's broken, but he dies in 2 hits. Frame data nerfs. Light recovery frame. Recovery increased by 2 frames. It was +1 on block and is now -1. I think that, like, honestly, they don't even need that, but that was just extra broken. Crouching light recovery increased by 2 frames. It was +0 on block. It is now -2. That's actually crazy. Crouching light being 0, I didn't even know that one. Light attacks that are 6 frames startup should not be plus without a severe drawback. Given the strength of Yasuo's light attack, will reduce the frame of damage by 2, blah, blah, blah. Medium recovery has been increased by 2 frames of 16 and is now 18. Mid-air, crouching H, down H, recovery has been increased by 6 frames. It was 24 frames and is now 30. Again, none of this means anything if you're still going to toss out special moves afterwards. Steel Tempest recovery has been increased by 8 frames. It was 21 and is now 29. What is what is this S1? Is that the poke? What is this S1? Oh, okay. That move is absolutely broken. But yeah, both Steel Tempest and Mid-Air 2H were usable without much consequence. We're giving these moves the recovery they deserve to ensure Yasuo has to pick his shots carefully. You know what I'm noticing? Right? Like, obviously, you know, this is just, like, things are going to add on, hopefully. Right? But what I'm noticing is that none of this has to do with when Yasuo uses his full screen moves to get closer to you, you lose the game. You know what the thing is? I thought like when I saw this list, I was like, huh, maybe they actually did something. They didn't actually do anything. None of this actually means anything. If he makes you block, no frame data actually changed that would make you feel okay when you block. Mid-air light. Startup is increased by 1 frame. He had the fastest aerial attack in the game. Settling Gale has been changed from +2 on block to -7. Yasuo should not be plus when this happens. Our bad. None of this changes what he does to you. Yasuo is still #1. In fact, he might actually even be more #1 now. Assist meter visuals have been updated for better readability. There's now additional confirmation dialogue that appears with selecting exit game. Added narrator feature which could read the name of UI element out loud. Allowed on mouse over. Okay. Credits cap. What? Oh. Expanded from 10K to 12K. This is actually really corny. We want wiggle room between our most expensive credit purchase, which is 10K. Credits are designed to be spent, so we hope this will make overcapping less frequent. Why handshake tag is 0 on Flash? I always thought that was the case. Like, the person who has a faster normal just wins. I never really messed with it. But yeah, that's ridiculous. That, or you could always throw. Like, so literally you just... But now this is the issue. The issue with this game is that there's going to be... Exactly. You lose the hold up, which loses the game. But only certain characters get combos off a throw. So, worst case scenario, let's say you're fighting Ahri. Worst case scenario, there's no reason to not try to jab it. Because Ahri, even if she threw you, gets nothing. But now, when you fight characters like Yasuo, you can lose the game for any one of these decisions. So things like that only make characters like Yasuo better. And then obviously big bodies just hold that, I guess. What is Ahri's jab? 7? Sometimes I feel like her buttons are just absolutely terrible. But yeah, that is it.